one of the most powerful ways we honor our loved ones is by sharing with others and not just keeping it to ourselves. Talk about the impact they had on your life and the lessons that they taught you. And by keeping their memory alive through storytelling, you inspire others to appreciate the significance of their own loved ones as well. And then you can live their values. So think about the qualities and values that they embodied, whether it's kindness, generosity. Strive to incorporate these traits into your own life, because that's going to create a legacy and positively impact the world for sure. And then you can be grateful. You can be grateful to reflect on the positive memories and the experiences that you shared with your loved ones, because practicing gratitude, that's going to help you find peace and appreciation for the time you had together. So the biggest thing is to just honor their memory through action. Let's remember that honoring our loved ones is a powerful way to spark positive change.
What is up, Impact Heroes? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Rick Ornelas. Thank you for spending some time with us today, because we know time's a valuable resource and we're going to make it worth your while. I appreciate each and every one of you, not just for listening, but for who you are. I know you're sparking change to make the world a better place every day, and I am humbled and grateful for your efforts. It takes all of us doing our part to spread positive change, and that's what this show is all about. Motivating you with stories of struggle, courage, and hope to empower you to make a difference in your life and the lives of others.
In case you missed it,
my purpose is to impact as many people positively and to honestly prevent as many suicides as I can, to reach other people in an honest way about how suicide has affected my life and how people who are really struggling with it, they almost never want to say anything, whether it's guilt or shame or struggle. The ability to create those honest conversations when someone is struggling with it. If I can be a conversation starter in that, or if I can get somebody to have an honest conversation about suicide, then that's a successful life for me.
Available everywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Welcome back, Impact Heroes, to the latest edition of I Spark Change Through. Now, our goal with these episodes is featuring all the different ways that us and others spark change to make the world a better place through social impact and positive change. We found over the past few years that there are endless ways to positively impact each other's days, and the response to this segment has been extremely positive. We've had episodes on sparking change through fitness, adventure, mind, body, spirit, volunteering, mental health awareness, writing, interns, cultural exchange, networking, time, self-care, gratitude, love, purpose, listening, collaboration, and most recently, mental health awareness part 2. So on that note, I have a question for you. How do you spark change? One of the ways we spark change here at I Spark Change is by remembering our loved ones. So as we go through life, there's going to be lots of moments of joy, love, and inevitably loss. And it's through these experiences that we learn to grow, and we find ways to honor the memories of those who have touched our lives. So today I want to share a deeply personal story about my sister, Linda, whose memory continues to inspire me and drive the mission at I Spark Change. So on July 6th of 2004, my sister Linda Ornelas Grant tragically took her own life. Now, she had battled bipolar disorder for many years and had recently been released from the hospital back at that time. Now, she wasn't in a good place mentally, and she felt suicide was her only answer. Now, I can remember everything about that day in complete detail. I know I was out with my boss at the time, and we were on doing some sales. It was on sales calls and medical sales back then. And we had returned to my car back from a call, and there was 8 missed calls on my cell phone from my wife, Tanya. So I immediately called her back, worried that something was going on. And she was crying on the phone. And all she said was, "You need to come home. You need to come home. You need to come home." And I was just so worried. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened?" Right? And so I just pressed her, and she didn't want to tell me. And she finally shared, because I said, "Look, what happened? Like, is there something wrong and everything?" And she just said, and she shared that my sister had passed and what had happened. And I remember throwing the phone down on the ground by my feet in the car, and I kind of didn't know what to do and just kind of broke down. And my boss offered to drive me home, and I remember saying, no, because I just wanted to. I didn't know what to do, so I just wanted to distract myself. So we drove off, and I went to go join Tanya, and help console the rest of our family, and we ended up driving down south to where my brother-in-law and niece and nephew lived in Burbank, California, and we drove down there and just trying to talk to him, and none of us could believe it, right? We just couldn't believe that it was real. And so for a few days we continued on dealing with everything that comes with a death. And I had to tell my dad what had happened. My mom knew, but I had to tell my dad, and that was not a memory I enjoy. And so I just kept struggling with the why of how it could happen, in the family Linda left behind. Her husband, Jeff, was now a widow with a son and a daughter that were both under the age of 2 at the time. And my biggest concern back then was for those 2 precious young souls and their future. Because, that was a tragic event, and what effect would that have on their future? And I'm very proud to say that, 20 years later, they are all happy and they're all thriving. And in fact, you can listen to the last episode of this podcast, episode 124, Turning Grief into Hope with Zachary Grant, where I interviewed my nephew, Zach, on how he honors his mother with the July 8th project, which has passed, and the 20-year anniversary and what they did to honor her. So if you follow us on social media, you will have seen that. But, definitely a positive way to remember her. And Linda's passing left an indelible mark on my heart and forever changed, the course of my life and many others. She was a vibrant, compassionate soul. She brought joy and love to everyone she met. She had a fantastic smile that would light up a room, and she was just so kind and so generous, and that knew no bounds, because she never wanted anything from anyone else. She was just a very giving person. And as I reflect on her life, I'm reminded of the profound impact that she had on those around her, me and many others, and even her kids in just the brief time that she shared with them. And so her memory, helps fuel my commitment to making the world a better place, and the work of others, like Zach. So remembering loved ones like my sister Linda, it's not just about honoring their memory. It's about recognizing that ripple effect that they have on our lives and the lives of others. The love, the kindness, the lessons they imparted continue to resonate long after they're gone. And it continues to shape us and inspire us to carry forward their legacy. So, I feel that ripple effect, that's something that, I don't know if I have a word for it, but it's something that continues far beyond their time, on the planet. And just like all the other ripple effects we talk about on the show, it's one that influences our actions, decisions, our interactions with others. And when we remember and honor our loved ones, then it allows us to keep their spirit alive and allows their positive influence to continue shaping the world in fantastic ways. So for me, Linda's memory serves as a constant reminder of the importance of kindness, empathy, and compassion. And in her honor, I strive to embody these qualities in my daily life and through the work of iSpark Change. And so by sharing her story, today, and I've shared it on other shows, is, I hope that the lessons that she taught me inspire others to remember their loved ones and let their memories help guide their actions in a positive way. So how can we honor and remember our loved ones? So here's a few tips for you. One is share their stories, just like I have today, because one of the most powerful ways we honor our loved ones is by sharing that with others and not just holding it in, not just keeping it to ourselves. Talk about the impact they had on your life and the lessons that they taught you. And by keeping their memory alive through storytelling, you inspire others to appreciate the significance of their own loved ones as well. And hopefully they'll start sharing. And then you can live their values. So think about the qualities and values that they embodied, whether it was kindness, generosity, like I said, or resilience. Strive to incorporate these traits into your own life, because that's going to create a legacy and positively impact the world for sure. You can support causes that they cared about, or initiatives that were important to them. If you volunteer, if you donate, you advocate. In Zach's case, he donates all the money from the July 8th project, to in preventing suicides, right? The American suicide prevention. So that's something that will definitely honor them and helps their mission and create meaningful change in their honor. You can create memorials. A lot of people that they've created like physical memorials. And I remember at our old house in California, we had a tree planted in a garden there, and we called it Dodo's Garden because that's the nickname I had for her. And that was a way to, memorial for her, memorialize her life, and be a lasting reminder of, her presence and impact. And then you can be grateful. You can be grateful to reflect on the positive memories and the experiences that you shared with your loved ones, because practicing gratitude, that's going to help you find peace and appreciation for the time you had together. And that's going to foster that sense of connection and purpose. So, the biggest thing is to just honor their memory through action. And so as we continue to build this platform of passionate and driven individuals, let's remember that honoring our loved ones is a powerful way to spark positive change. Their memories can guide us, they can inspire us, they can motivate us to create a better world. And by sharing their stories and living their values, we keep their spirit alive, and we continue that ripple effect of their love and kindness. And together as a community, we can honor those that have touched our lives as a catalyst for positive change. So let's lead by example, impact heroes. Let's show that remembering loved ones is indeed a form of sparking change. I want to thank you for joining me on today's episode. I hope that what I shared resonated with you in some way and sparked something inside of you, because remember, you have the ability to spark change every day and create those ripple effects. I'd love to hear how you remember your loved ones. So please share with me on social media. I promise I will read each and every one of your messages and will respond. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the iSpark Change podcast.
Do you want Rick to speak at your event? Here is what others have to say.
Did not know his story, and it was so inspirational, and his presence on stage, his authenticity was just incredible.
Performance made me feel some type of way. My name is Craig Siegel.
If you're looking for a speaker for your next event, hire Rick. I promise you this, you will not be disappointed.
Visit rickcornelis.com to book him today.
Remember, Impact Heroes, every positive action can be a spark moment that has a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the initial act. So go out there and spark change. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode, then please smash that 5-star rating on iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. We value your comments, and we want to hear from you in the community. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and we'll see you next week on the iSpark Change podcast.